Good morning, everyone. I'm Barry Cowan, the president of the Deerfield Beach Computer Club. This meeting is being recorded, so if you do not want to be viewed for any reason, turn off your video at this time and you can contribute with your audio. I'd like to welcome everyone to this remote presentation. It's great to see you looking so healthy and happy. Yes. The pandemic has certainly changed the way we live, learn, and love, perhaps for a very long time, until we know beyond all reasonable doubt that the pandemic is under control in Century Village East and the surrounding areas, and it is absolutely safe for everyone to return to our building and classroom without restrictions. We will continue to provide remote instruction. Our next Zoom presentation is scheduled for September the 4th. Please look for your email before containing the links and invitation to the meeting. The speaker and topic will be announced soon. Your mics will be muted at this time to prevent background interference during today's presentation. So please take the opportunity to post your comments on the chat board using the exact name you used to sign in to today's meeting. Now it's time for me to introduce today's guest speaker, Huey Poplock. In 1987, he joined the Central Florida Computer Society and served as its president for 4 terms and was program chair there for many years. He's chair of its Windows SIG Special Interest Group. He gives live monthly remote presentations via Zoom to user groups across the nation. He recently joined the Sarasota Technology User Group and has served as the vice president of the Association of Computer User Groups, APCUG, the national organization. When I looked at Huey's bio, I asked the question, what hasn't he done? Well, he's a former college instructor, business owner, information technology manager, and web designer. He's semi-retired, but he's active in many technology user groups and likes to help computer users and gives back much of what he has learned over the many years. He has many tutorial videos on YouTube and many recorded Windows presentations on his website. He will give you more information at the end of his presentation and will be staying through the entire meeting to answer your questions. Today, his topic will be presenting Audible audio books. Many people, especially seniors, are finding more free time while confined to their homes. One technology that is not often considered is audiobooks. Reading becomes more difficult as we age. Listening to someone read has become very accessible, and audiobooks are voice recordings of the text of a book that you listen to rather than read. Audiobooks can be the exact word-for-word versions of books or abridged versions. You can listen to audiobooks on any smartphone, tablet, computer, home sound system, or in your car. There are many ways to get professionally read books for free, inexpensively, or by subscription. Huey Poplock will give us a brief background and then provide ways to find thousands of audiobooks. He will also provide a few sample excerpts of books to illustrate the quality of audiobooks. That being said, Huey, please share your screen and let's go on with the show.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much for that introduction. And as he said, I'm going to be talking about audiobooks. And I'm Huey Poplock. I thought I had my email address. I will have it on I think the final slide. It's info@huey.net, but let's get started. Audiobooks are for people who hate reading and for those of us who love reading. Thomas Edison created the first spoken word phonograph record in 1877. He predicted technology might one day allow books to be listened to with, and I quote, with great profit and amusement by the lady or gentleman whose eyes and hands may be otherwise employed. 1932, the American Foundation for the Blind began creating books on vinyl records for war-blinded soldiers and blind civilians who couldn't read Braille. In 1952, Cademan Records became the first record company, or the first company dedicated to selling spoken word records to the public. The evolution of the spoken book mirrors the innovations in the music industry. Books on tape replaced the vinyl audiobooks, streaming superseded compact discs, and smartphones are replacing everything these days. As the audiobook industry flourishes, so is the number of ways you can listen to audiobooks with apps for smartphones, iPads, desktops, and Kindles from Amazon, Google, and Apple, as Barry just said. Everyone's competing for a chunk of the thriving sector. Most audiobooks are available to listen to on your smartphone, tablet, smartwatch, and desktop or laptop. How to listen to audiobooks depends mostly on which device you have and your access to the apps on it. Both Apple and Android devices will allow you to access virtually every audiobook app. One of the best places to get audiobooks is your local library system. I've been doing this presentation all over the country, and you can see some of the library systems in some of the areas that I have spoken to, and you see yours up in the top left. Here is from your library, county library system's webpage, and there's a large picture, and you can probably barely read it, so I'll break it down a little bit. They have on your Broward system, you have Overdrive, which has over 2 million titles, including the New York Times bestsellers. You have Hoopla, which has ebooks, audiobooks, movies, television, music, and comics. And then you have RB Digital, ebooks, audiobooks, e-audiobooks, and e-magazines are available for download. And you're going to see these names as I go through several different library systems. Now, why am I showing you other library systems? Well, a lot of you are snowbirds, or you know snowbirds, or your neighbors are snowbirds, and you can help them by telling them about these things. So, and this is also on your the Broward Library system. You can find your new favorite title and book lists. You can subscribe. Novelist is another helps you find the right title. And the librarians, of course, will always help you as well. And that's even virtually online. You don't have to go into your library to get these. They're downloadable and streaming materials. This happens to be from the Seminole County, which is just north of Orlando. But I'm showing different screens from different ones so you can see how they all have some kind of a tutorial and explanation of what you can do. Some have limits. You'll see that they also have Overdrive and Hoopla. They tell you what the checkouts are. They have instructions online. So you should be able to find some instructions on your website, your local website. Here's an example of what you might find with a page. There'll be various books. They'll tell you whether it's an ebook or an audiobook. Sometimes it can be both. They may have both of a particular book. What's the difference between an ebook and an audiobook? An ebook is one you actually read. The audiobook is one that speaks to you. And then here's a section with just the audiobooks, and you'll see a lot of different titles there as well. This happens to be from the Orange County Library System, which is Orlando. You can see that there are some titles. You can see lists of topics. You can go by topics to find a book to read or to listen to, or you might find hundreds of them that you can just browse through, or you could search. This is the Manatee. This is my local library system. They have Hoopla, Overdrive, and RB Digital, the same as Broward has. So you can see that there's a trend in all of these library systems. Same thing with the Sarasota County Library System. They've got several different ways in which you can find ebooks, and especially the audiobooks is what we're talking about. And there are other services. There's Cloud Library. So depending upon the library system that you use, there may be some different programs, but in most cases, all you need is your library card number and some kind of a PIN that they give you when you get your library card. You sign into one of those services and they'll let you in, and then you can download the particular book that you want to listen to. And then when you're done with it, you actually have to give it back to them. It doesn't stay in your library. This is from another location. This was from the Phoenix area. This was just from any library system. Usually there's some kind of tutorial that's available for each of the devices that you might have. This again from the Phoenix area. They have the RB Digital. They have something called Cloud Library, which wasn't included in yours. This is the Hillsborough County. This is Tampa Bay area. And that they also have Overdrive and Hoopla and RB Digital. So a lot of the libraries use the same programs, and they subscribe to them, and then you can use them. And then you'll notice down here, the audiobooks, downloadable audiobooks in Hillsborough County is 58,000. So there should be something there that you can find to keep you busy from now until you don't read anymore. Pinellas County, which is also in the Tampa Bay area, again, they've got Overdrive and they've got RB Digital. And so you can see the fact that all of these areas have very similar programs. So once you learn to use it, you're going to find it'll be easy for you to go back to your home area or to use the one in Broward County. This was Vancouver and Toronto. Okay, so this was in Oklahoma, and you can see that the audiobooks are available there as well, thousands of them. Wisconsin, and let's get past that. All right, something I discovered this past week, and I've just added this to my presentation because I had never heard of this, and it popped up, believe it or not, on my Facebook. So it says, all that may read. It's the National Library System for Blind and the Print Disabled. So this isn't for all of us, but it might be for somebody you know that you can help. And it's the National Library Service. NLS is a free Braille and talking book library service for people with temporary or permanent low vision, blindness, or a physical disability that prevents them from reading or holding the printed page. If they can't turn the page, for instance, this would be a good source to get audiobooks for free from the National Library System. NLS works to ensure that all may read by providing eligible patrons access to reading materials regardless of age, economic circumstances, or technical expertise. Share the gift of reading and spread the word about NLS so all that may read. Any resident of the United States or American citizen living abroad who is unable to read or to use normal print materials as a result of temporary or permanent visual or physical limitations may receive service through NLS. This includes those who are blind, have a visual disability that prevents them from reading normal print, or have a physical disability that keeps them from being able to hold a book. NLS has no subscriptions or service fees. It's free for eligible borrowers. Apply today to get access for all your favorite titles in a format that works for you. NLS offers a variety of formats, talking books and magazines. In other words, audiobooks and audio magazines on digital cartridges are mailed to your door. You return them the same way through postage-free mail. Digital talking book players are also provided free to the patrons. There's Braille and Audio Reading Download, or BARD. BARD is a web-based service that provides access to thousands of special format books, magazines, and music materials. The same materials that are offered on digital cartridges are also available for download in compressed audio or Braille formats. And then the Bard Mobile, with Bard Mobile app, you can download and play audio materials on an iPhone, an iPad, an iPad Touch. Many of the materials available on digital cartridges or in hard copy Braille are also available for download in compressed audio or Braille formats. And then, of course, there's Braille available and even music appreciation materials, music scores, and music instruction in Braille audio and large print is available. Okay, switching from that, you can subscribe with a fee with Audible. Audible has 30-day membership free, and what you get is you get one audiobook and 2 Audible originals to get you started. And Audible is a subscription-based system from Amazon. Amazon bought them a few years ago. Audible costs $14.95 per month after 30 days, but you can cancel at any time. Audible is strictly audiobooks. Yes, they have over 100,000 audiobooks. Audible is which is similar to Netflix originals. They offer original content exclusive only to them. So there are certain books that are only available on Audible. And since Audible is owned by Amazon, you can listen to your audiobooks through your home devices, which I don't want to say your name, just in case yours is on and listening. I don't want her to start up and talk to you. You can listen to Audible books in a dozen different languages. You can even choose from abridged and unabridged versions. And the address for Audible is on the slide. And remember, these slides are going to be available as a PDF that I've already sent Barry. And he'll distribute however you do that within your group. Audible compatible devices are all iOS devices, and that means all Apple devices, all Android devices, all Windows phones, if you should be using one of those still. Kindles, the Kindle Fire, the Kindle Oasis 8th and 9th generation, the Paperwhite and 8th generation. SanDisk and Creative MP3 players, Victor Reading System, the Braille Note and Apex Braille Note, Garmin and TomTom GPS devices, and Mac and Windows computers. And one of the things with the Audible software is you can start reading or having the book read to you on one device, and when you stop it and go to a different device, because of your you sign into your account, it knows where you stopped and it will start from that spot on. So let's say you're listening at home, you get into your car and you turn on, you listen to it either through your sound system or just through your phone in the car if you're traveling. And then when you get to where you're going, you can then bring your phone in or your iPad and or your Kindle and watch and continue listening to it on that device. Okay, Audible, they entertain, they teach. Oh, this was something that they made available, and I'm not sure if it's still there or not because it was during the COVID situation, and they were only going to do it for a few months, but they may have continued to do it. But for young people, you've got grandkids, they have, and also yourselves, there are some great older books, books for kids. Some of the classics are available. They were just making them available for free using the Stories help. And you can start listening. That's the stories.audible.com/start-listen. Another service that's out there besides Audible is one called Scribed. That one's a little bit cheaper. It's $9.99 per month after 30 days. In other words, you get 30 days to play with it. It's unlimited audiobooks, and you can cancel at any time. And as I said, you can do it for 30 days and then cancel. Scribed offers audiobooks and more. They have ebooks, magazines, research papers, and sheet music. With a premium membership from Scribd, you can enjoy thousands of different audiobooks in different genres. You can also access short stories, essays, articles, and documents. Scribd also offers original content that you can only listen to with a Scribd membership. Scribd compatible devices are the Apple devices, but it has to be able to run iOS 9 or newer, and the newest iOS version is 13. So that does go back quite a ways. And it does include the Apple Watches. Android systems that are Android 4.4, and again, those go back several years or higher. And then Kindle devices with Fire OS 4 or higher, and this doesn't include the Paperwhite. It's not available on the Paperwhite Kindle. Now, what about between them? I'm not going to go through this whole thing. If you're considering Scribd versus Audible, take a look at the slides when you get them, but you can compare them to content, to download ownership, and compatibility and price. Scribd, of course, is cheaper. They both work on most devices. The biggest thing is the ownership. Audible is better if you want to keep your library forever. Scribd works more like Netflix. Once you cancel your subscription, you can no longer access the content. While I was looking up different ways to get audiobooks, I found Chirp. And Chirp works a little bit different. There's no subscription fees. You buy each book separately at a highly discounted price. And again, there's a link to it in the slide. And how it works is you create your free account and you tell them what type of audiobooks you enjoy. You'll receive daily recommendations and save up to 95%. You download the free audiobook app for iOS or Android, and then you stream the audiobooks immediately or download them to listen offline. Here are some examples of books on Chirp, and you'll see that, like, here's a Dean Koontz book. It normally would be $25. You get it for $5 through Chirp, but it's for a certain period. In other words, that price isn't forever. So you've got to buy the book when it's on sale if you want the sale price. If you don't care, then you can pay the $25 when that special price goes away. But you can see there's a wide variety, and there's editors' picks, and there's different genres and so on to pick from. And you'll see that they're from about it looks like from $2 to $5 a book. And depending upon, if you're doing 3 books a month, and well, maybe audiobooks, this would be cheaper if you only use 2. If you use 3, well, you might want to look at something like audiobooks because you're going to get more books per month. But this one, you download them and you buy the book, so the book is yours forever. To wrap this part up, what I'm going audio, there are some pictures there. The pictures really don't go with what he's talking about. It's just it's showing some of the people he's referring. So don't think that up. But what this is some samples of books from a person who is a agent for people who are hired to read the books. In other words, they're professional book readers. And so that gives an extra quality to the books that we're talking about. Now, why would you want something like that? Well, if you remember old-time radio, you could visualize in your mind, even though they were just talking into a microphone. Before television took all that ideas from your head and stuck them in front of you, so you could visualize with your mind in radio. Can you mute whoever that person is, please? And you could visualize in your mind when you listen to old-time radio. TV took that away from you. Well, with audiobooks, you're doing the same thing. So the reader has to help you visualize what's in the book. So let's go ahead and listen to these.
Hi, this is Pat Fraley.
I'm going to stop it for a second. Could you hear it all right, Barry?
Yes.
Okay. Let me continue then.
Regions around the country this year, teaching audiobook skills and guiding talent into making audiobook narration book deals and making demos. I thought it might be of value for you to listen to some examples of wonderful narrators and get a sense of how their personal styles vary. It should be an encouragement to you to hear the varied styles which are needed for audiobook narration. So here goes. Here's the superstar of audiobook narrators, Scott Brick, reading an excerpt from What Makes Sammy Run by Bud Schulberg. There's nothing particularly unusual about Scott's voice. It's all about connecting with the listener and his storytelling abilities at unwinding that story. Also, Scott has the ability to give you the style of the piece. Notice how he takes on the feel of a 1930s or 1940s movie that's perfect for the book.
The first time I saw him, he couldn't have been much more than 16 years old. A little ferret of a kid, sharp and quick. Sammy Glick. Used to run copy for me. Always ran. Always looked thirsty. "Good morning, Mr. Mannheim," he said to me the first time we met. "I'm the new office boy, but I ain't gonna be an office boy long." "Don't say ain't," I said, "or you'll be an office boy forever." "Thanks, Mr. Mannheim," he said. "That's why I took this job, so I can be around writers and learn all about grammar and how to act right." 9 out of 10 times I wouldn't have even looked up, but there was something about the kid's voice that got me. He must have been charged with a couple of 1,000 volts. "So, you're a pretty smart little feller," I said. "Oh, I keep my ears and eyes open," he said. "You don't do a bad job with your mouth either," I said. "I wondered if newspaper men always wisecrack the way they do in the movies," he said. "Get the hell out of here," I answered. He raced out, too quickly, a little ferret. Smart kid, I thought. Smart little yid. He made me uneasy. That sharp, neat, eager little face. I watched the thin, wiry body dart around the corner in high gear. It made me uncomfortable. I guess I've always been afraid of people who can be agile without grace.
Now listen to Renee Rodman as she perfectly balances reading with embodying the characters with a reality in this excerpt from the young adult book, Wesley, The Story of a Remarkable Owl by Stacey O'Brien.
I was a little nervous about asking if I could bring an owl home to live with us, but she just smiled and patted her horse on the neck. "A barn owl? Won't he be a great addition to the family?" "Wendy," I said, "I'll have to keep dead mice in the freezer and cut up mice in the fridge. Would that be okay?" "Meat is meat," she shrugged. "I mean, a lot of mice, Wendy." "A lot of mice? How many is a lot?" "Well, probably thousands of mice as time goes by." "How long do barn owls live, anyway?" she asked. I'm not sure how long they live in captivity. Maybe up to 15 or 20 years. "Well, I think you should do it," she said. "It's the chance of a lifetime."
Here's an excerpt by Carrington McDuffie from Abiding Darkness by John Aubrey Anderson, where we hear her wonderful skill at doing some strong character work.
"Boy, he never called Mose anything else. There ain't never gonna be no drink better than coffee. 'Cept in heaven, I reckon." The frail old man nodded and spoke as he bent to put the cup by the rocking chair. "'Cept in heaven is right, boy. Gonna drink from the fountain that don't never run dry. A sure enough pure river of living water, clear as crystal, proceeding straight out of the throne. Now that's a drink to shame the best cup of coffee on the place."
Now, here's a sample from Kata Mazer, narrating from the Nanny Diaries. Kata is a stellar reader, but by her own admission, has a kind of vanilla voice. One of her greatest skills, and one that is sought after by producers and publishers, is her ability to connect to the listener by giving the impression she's reading to one person.
If there were any justice in the world, this is the point when all nannies should be given roadblocks and a stun gun. These rooms are destined to become the burden of my existence. From this point on, 95% of this apartment will be nothing more than a blurred background for chasing, enticing, and point-blank pleading with the child to put the Delft milkmaid down. I am also about to become intimate with more types of cleaning fluid than I knew there were types of dirt. It will be in her pantry, stocked high above the washer-dryer, that I discover people actually import toilet bowl cleanser from Europe. We arrive in the kitchen. It is enormous. With a few partitions, it could easily house a family of 4. She stops to rest one manicured hand on the counter, affecting a familiar pose, like a captain at the helm about to address the crew. However, I know if I asked her where she keeps the flour, a half hour of rummaging through unused baking utensils would ensue.
Here's my friend and wonderful actor, Richard McGonigal, who is fully capable of doing character voice work, but in this excerpt from Roosevelt and Churchill, Men of Secrets by David Stafford, Richard keeps to a rather dry read, almost reporting, which I think is perfect for the book.
Franklin Roosevelt learned of Hitler's attack on Western Europe late on the evening of 9 May 1940 in a telephone call from his ambassador in Belgium. Ensconced in his favorite red-leather armchair in the second-floor study of the White House, surrounded by his collection of maritime pictures and models of ships, he listened grimly to the news of simultaneous attacks by more than 100 German divisions on Belgium, Holland, Luxembourg, and France. 90 minutes later, the first reports began to filter in of bombs falling on Brussels, Amsterdam, and Rotterdam, and he stayed up until the early hours to digest them.
Here's Hillary Huber reading from Going to Bend. She has that skill of giving the listener the impression she's reading right to them. Also, Hillary is wonderful at making bold character choices.
While Petey diced 50 carrots, Rose read aloud from the weekly newspaper about old Billy Wall, who had just been indicted on sodomy charges. You know what I think? I think if he did what those kids say he did, the guy deserves to have a bad thing happen to him. I mean worse than shame and a jail term. I mean something bad. They should take him just like you take a carrot and peel him down real slow, real careful, layer by layer, until you've got him peeled naked as an egg. And then you bring him to Hubbard Elementary and you lock him in the gym with 20 mothers with baseball bats. You put some Gatorade in there and some high-nutrition snacks and maybe have an alternate or two who can substitute when one of the women gets tired. She traded Rose the peeler for a paring knife. The son of a bitch.
Now here's an excerpt from Better Than I Know Myself by Virginia DuBarry and Donna Grant. It's read by one of our favorite readers, Lisa Renee Pitts. We hire her for all the books we have produced written by African-American authors. Listen to how Lisa Renee reads as if she becomes each character, including the author's narrator.
I wish they'd all go to hell. Carmen felt the throbbing bass of her brother's stereo vibrate the steel fire door as she shoved her key in the last of 4 locks. How you gonna throw that card down? She knew Z and some of the fools he hung with were in there, playing pinochle or dirty hearts, eating greasy egg rolls and pork fried rice.
Now here's Raven Kane reading from Jewel Plum Sykes' book, Bergdorf Blondes. Raven's voice and performance are just right for the material.
The Upper East Side wife I met is called Muffy. Apparently it was once a very popular name in Connecticut, where most Muffies were born, roughly in the middle of the last century. This Muffy, like all her neighborhood Muffies, says, "Ralph Lauren is my drug of choice." She's also addicted to Botox injections.
What book would benefit from your narration skills and style of reading? What is your personal style? I'll be near you to help. If you'd like to join these gainfully employed audiobook narrators, a schedule of when I'll be in your neck of the woods can be found at my website, patfraley.com. When there, just go to my Learn page. Thanks for watching.
Very interesting, the quality of the voices that you heard. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I maintain a website called Huey's Views and Reviews, And on that, I have some important YouTube channels and playlists. And let me do a close-up. Here's some channels to use. These are some of the ones that I have. Ron Brown, who I do the Tech for Seniors show every Monday, has a couple of channels that you should take a look at. The CFCS channel, the Central Florida Computer Society channel, and of course the APCUG channel, where they post all of the virtual technology conference videos. Bob G, who's online with us today, he's got a channel with his security news roundup. There are also some playlists that you might want to take a look at, and that is Tech for Seniors. That's the program Ron Brown and I and Bob G put together every Monday. We've done 21 of them so far because we feel that seniors need some help and interest, and gives them something to do every Monday, and it's Eastern time at noon, but you have to be on by, you should be on around 11:30, because at noon we actually lock the meeting, and so if you come in late, you won't get in. But take a look at some of our past programs and see if it's something you would like. And there should be a link. If you don't have a link, get in touch with me and I'll send you a link. There's a Zoom settings for hosts. If those of you are learning how to use Zoom and want to host some, I put together a whole series of settings to use in Zoom. And then I do the Windows Special Interest Group every month. It's the second Sunday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 1 o'clock. Every second Sunday of the month. Usually runs about an hour and a half. I've been doing those for 5.5 years. When I moved from the Orlando area, they asked me to keep doing the Windows Special Interest Group for the group. And so I've been doing it virtually for 5.5 years, almost 6 years now. And then Bob G's Security News Roundup, and you can find his channel and playlist at the address. It's there, and it should be hopefully in the PDF that you get. They should be clickable. Hopefully they are. So at this time, I will get my email address. So if you have any questions directly or later on that you think of anything, by all means get a hold of me. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and catch you, see if you're sleeping or not. No, it doesn't look like anybody's sleeping. That's good. And
Huey, I want to thank you for a great presentation. Now, folks, don't touch that dial because you might pull my nose by mistake. It's now your time. We've got some questions up on the chat board, or if you'd like to speak with Huey, you just have to unmute yourselves.
Yeah, let's look at the questions that are in the chat box. One of them is, these are some great resources. I'll post them on the website and we'll add them to the YouTube version also. Good, thank you. Can you listen to as many books as you want per month? Different services have different, I think Audible and some of them may have a limit, and the libraries, I think, have a limit how many you can take out. But I think once you return them, you can take more out. I don't think there's, and that'll depend upon your library system. But in most cases, I think as long as you return the books, you can take more out. They all have their own limits. Check the site to find out more. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I just said. And what about podcasts, especially the Moth? I'm not familiar with the Moth, but podcasts, I listen to podcasts every night. I have an iPad that I use just next to my bed with an earpiece, so it doesn't bother Robin, and I listen to podcasts all night. I fall asleep, I wake up, I'm listening to a different one. But a lot of them are technology, but they can be news, they can be, there's podcasts in all kinds of topics. And it's another good way to listen to what's going on in the world and still continue to do other things. And especially if you have trouble reading, or if you're if and somehow your hands don't work right, or if you're just want to sit in your easy chair and not do anything, but you don't want to watch a lot of the junk that's on TV, there's some great podcasts with lots of good information. Okay, there's another chat here. What about podcasts? Okay. Oh, the Moth, they're great improvisations. But there's all kinds of podcasts out there. Some are very good and some are lousy. So, but there are programs that you can listen to them through, and you can subscribe to some of the podcasts, so you can go to the same ones each time. Any other questions? We can field them right from your screen. You don't have to type them in the chat box. We're live. And just unmute yourself, and if you raise your hand, I'm seeing everybody on the screen except for those that don't have cameras. And in those cases, just unmute yourself and talk. Anybody? Don't be shy. I know this is new.
I especially enjoyed the part about the styles of voices and readers. I really enjoyed that a lot. Thank you.
Oh, damn, I got to do this right away.
Sharon, we can hear you.
Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, we heard you too, Ada. Yep. Okay, Jules, go ahead and unmute yourself if you're raising your hand. If you're not sure how to unmute yourself, touch the screen. There should be a microphone with a line through it. Just touch it. There you go.
Oh, no, I have no questions.
Okay.
Very good presentation.
Thank you.
Very good.
Dorothy.
Yeah, I use Overdrive all the time. And the only thing that's happened recently, they've gone from 3 weeks to 2 weeks.
You've got to listen to them over 2 weeks, then turn them back in. Is that what?
Right, yeah.
Is there a limitation?
I think 17. I mean, you can really download more than you could ever read in 2 weeks. So I usually just do one at a time, and when I finish, I download another one. And I use those to go to sleep instead of a podcast. I listen to a book at night, and I set it. There's a timer, and I set it for like a half an hour, and usually it puts me to sleep in a half an hour.
Okay, and you can go back and then start again, and so
Yeah.
you can still get the gist of the book.
I have to go back a little bit because
Yeah.
if I fall asleep too soon, but I love the fact that it syncs with my iPhone, and so it's great. I love the library. I really do. I've been using it for, I've got 3-4 years with audiobooks.
And if you're not into books at all, but like that sort of thing where you don't have to participate and you don't like TV, as I look around at all of your pictures, some of you may remember old time radio. You know, the Burns and Allen, Jack Benny, Who Knows What Evil Lurks in the Minds of Men, and The Whistler, and so on.
The Shadow.
And the Shadow knows.
Oh.
But all of those programs are available online that you can listen to for free. There's different services. There's different channels. ROK. It used to be ROK.com, but now I think it's ROK Rock. I'm not remembering exactly what it's called now, but they have several channels going at the same time. You don't pick and choose which ones. It's by schedule. But I've listened to old Burns and Allen, Jack Benny, Fred Allen, because I enjoy the comedy ones, but also old Superman and Sergeant Preston of the Yukon and things like that. And it's really great to listen to the quality of what they put into those presentations back in those days. So whether you want to hear a book or listen to an old-time radio story, it really, there is so much entertainment available for you that you don't have to be using your hands. You don't have to be concentrating on it. It can be in the background, or it can be as you're driving your car somewhere. You don't have to listen to the talking heads and all of these radio stations that after a while, they're saying the same thing over and over again, depending on what side of. I don't like talking politics. I don't like listening to politics. I don't want to hear politics when I'm in the car. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy something. I want to relax, pay attention to the driving and so on. So you can do that while you're driving or in the house. And a lot of these things will allow you to do it through your various home assistants. And I don't want to use their names, but I think you know who I mean.
Yeah.
But a lot of them you can listen to. I listen to a lot of podcasts through mine because I just say play Burns and Allen through Stitcher, and it'll play some Burns and Allen through Stitcher. So there's just a lot of ways you can really enjoy things in these times when you're stuck at in the house, and still be getting some good entertainment.
Marcia, with the question?
Marcia,
Yes.
go
Can
ahead.
you hear
Ask
me
your
okay?
yes, we can. Ask your question.
Yeah. For one thing, on what you were just talking about, how do you use one of those? I have one of the home gadgets. I won't use the name either. And I get books from Overdrive, and then I put them onto my Kindle app on my iPad. I don't have a dedicated Kindle gadget. So you're saying I can use the home app to listen to one of those books that I've got on my Kindle app on my iPad? Is that correct?
You may have to search through your through Google to find out how to do that, because but I am quite sure that some of the services, and you may not, because you're downloading it to your iPad and doing it, I'm not sure whether that would be the correct way to do it, to listen to it through your assistant, but there should be a way in which, or there may be a way, I should say, which you can do it. I don't do audiobooks that way, so I couldn't tell you. Is anyone here tried that? Dorothy, have you done that?
I think she's doing a second thing. She doesn't have to go through Kindle. I think she could just go through Overdrive strictly on her iPad without going to Kindle. Because
I mean, that's what I normally do. Yeah.
You don't need to go through Kindle. You just go through the Overdrive app, download the books, and you don't have to use Kindle at all.
But there's probably a way in which you can do Overdrive through your assistant devices as well.
You can't do Overdrive. The only one that they'll let you do is the Amazon audiobooks.
Okay. Which would be Audible. Yeah.
Yeah, Audible.
Adam, welcome.
Helene, you have a question.
I do. First, I want to say I'm
Hold on.
finding your presentation most interesting. Thank you. I have a neighbor whose eyesight has been diminishing, so much so that it's beyond prescription, and he's not really able to read now. But they're in the process of getting together some kind of a magnifying eyeglass for him. But I did mention the audiobooks from the library to his wife, but now I have all these other sites to present to her, so I thank you for the information.
You're welcome. NLS would be a good place to go to as well. The National Library System that I talked about.
Yes.
Because it sounds like he would qualify and get them free from them.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Mary Louise, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Mary Louise, you are muted. There should be a red line through a microphone on your screen. No, we still not here. There you go.
Oh, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I have a friend that passed away and she was blind, and she would, through the mail, they would send her the different recordings, and she had even the machine that played the recordings, and it was just wonderful. And I'm sure that that's through the NLS she got it.
Right, and they do supply the equipment free.
And thank you for telling us, because sometimes we forget about this, and I know another friend having trouble, and I'm gonna let her know what's available.
Good.
And thank you, the presentation, I've learned a lot, and I want to use some of this. I haven't been using it, but I had another friend who was homebound and used the audio books from the library and in old time radio. So it's just wonderful.
And those of you who do go north and come back, or are north right now and come down here, it's great when you're traveling, because you can be reading books while you're driving, because they're reading them to you. So it's a heck of a lot better than listening to those. First of all, most of the radio stations come and go when you're traveling, and you get a lot of static, but they also talk about a lot of stuff you aren't interested in and a lot of ads that you're not interested in, where this way you can just listen to the books. Margaret.
Also, if you're a member of the Broward County Library, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can still download your books and then give them back. We did it in the middle of Russia on a river.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And vice versa. If you're from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you're here during the winter, and you belong to the Tulsa library system, you can download from them while you're down here. So,
Does downloading these books onto, say, an iPhone, does that use up a lot of cellular data?
I don't know I don't know whether it'd be used a lot, because once you download it, it's there. So you're not streaming it. It's not continuing. So it's just a download. So I am not sure how much it is, but I think they pretty much, if you remember some of the slides say they compress it. And so by compressing it, it means there's less data flowing through the wires. So I would say it's probably not too bad.
Let's hear from Barry, my alter ego. Will you unmute yourself, please?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Barry?
How are you?
It's good to see you. We missed you a few meetings.
Yeah, I had to go to the doctor the last one. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, the presentation was really very good. I'm really starting to get into this now, so I'm glad that I was able to listen. The presentation was quite good.
How's Gail doing?
Who?
How's Gail?
Oh, fine, thank you. How are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while.
I'm fine, but right now I'm sitting here in a microwave, and if I just open my mouth, you can fit a dinner in there.
I know, I see that.
And you can zap me at will. Okay.
Dorothy, you had something you want to add?
Good to see you. Adam, would you like to speak now?
Oh.
Adam?
I think Dorothy had her hand up.
Okay, Dorothy, go ahead.
Another thing that I do is when I have a book on my iPad or my phone and I'm cleaning the house, I use my iPad, my buds, and I can listen to it all over, and I don't have to carry the apparatus with me. And it's just wonderful. So I use the books all the time, listen to a book all the time.
Thank you. Patricia.
Hi. Yes, I thought it was really very interesting. And I was not brought up with technology because I lived overseas in Africa, so we didn't have all that. So actually, it's after the age of almost 50 that I'm learning more right now. So it's very, very interesting for me. Also, I want to learn a new language. And I never thought actually about the audiobook because I'm very busy. And I think that's why I'm going to go with through the local library. So thank you so much for the information.
Remember, they used to have them on cassettes. I think they still do. There used to be a lot of language things put on audio cassettes.
Yeah.
Those?
I don't even have a cassette player nowadays.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the same.
Now, our library system here and several others around the state offer, it's called lynda.com, which was purchased by Microsoft, and it's now part of LinkedIn, and they call it LinkedIn Tutorials. They have a lot of tutorials, and I think some of them are language lessons.
And I believe there's Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, and they may be available through your library system as well.
Yes, they are.
My daughter is a librarian, and she uses Duolingo for a game type of learning a new language.
Right.
Right. On the iPhone, there's Duolingo, an iPad, and there's also a Babbel, I believe, are used for great language learning resources.
Yeah.
So this is a good time when you're spending a lot of time at home. You're not going out like you used to, or you're not attending meetings live to catch up on some of these things and do some of these things. And it's really great for us that are seniors because it keeps our minds going and it keeps us young and keeps, it's very healthy for us to be able to exercise our minds and keep learning.
Okay, Mike, let's talk to you a little bit. What's going on in London?
Yeah, I had one comment. People said you could access Broward Library all over the world. I actually had trouble. I can only access Broward Library on my Chromebook if I say that if it thinks it's in the States. If I'm on my home computer and it thinks I'm in England, it won't let me log on. It says not available in other area or something. I must admit I haven't tried this year. Maybe it's changed, but
Use a VPN and change your location.
yeah, well, I don't have to because my Chromebook is already sort of got it thinks it's in.
Oh, by the way, folks.
In Florida.
We're getting a little audio trouble here.
Yeah, that's his bandwidth.
Yeah, so Chromebooks is another thing that Huey has tremendous expertise in. Did you mention your Chromebook site?
No, but it's CB for Chromebooks, the number 4S.net, Chromebooks for seniors. CB4S.net.
We haven't heard from Adam. How about you, Adam? Can you please unmute and talk to us? Thank you.
If you're on a PC, go to there. You moved. Lower left, move your mouse down there. You'll see the menu with a picture of a microphone with a red line. There you go.
I got it. Okay. I'm a snowbird. I'm up in New York near the Canadian border right now. This is a brand new webcam. Barry, it looks pretty crisp on my copy here. It looks like it's a good camera. I just wanted to comment that I use the audiobooks on the trip north. The drive north can be pretty boring, and the audiobooks make the trip go by in half the time. That's the feeling that I get. They're wonderful for that. It keeps my attention. So I'm a big fan. The book that I'm listening to right now is by Patrick O'Brien. It's about the Napoleonic Wars, and there are about 100 hours in the series, which means it's going to be years of driving between New York and Florida to listen to the whole series. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else like to say anything?
Hi, it's Lori.
Yes, Laurie.
I just wanted to say I use the NLS system. I know when I download books onto my Kindle, they take up space on the hard drive, but there's no limitation. You can delete them and get them back again, as far as I know, to an unlimited degree. On the iPhone, I'm not sure whether it saves to the hard drive or not. So I know someone asked about that. So.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add in another resource. There's something called Bub Books, or Books Bub. They seem to change how it's titled, but I get emails from Bub Books, and they list various selection of books that you can get from different sources, like from Amazon or whatever. And then you can download them and use them. And every time they do it, which is daily, they have at least one book which is free. And so I use that resource a lot to give me access to the books I want.
Are they Audible or are they ones you read?
I'm trying to remember, I do both. So I don't pay attention to which way I'm doing it.
Yeah.
No, I think the ones I read, I think the ones you read actually.
Because there's a lot.
There may be Audibles available also.
There's a lot of sources of free books available if you want to read them on your devices. And there's the Gutenberg Library or the Gutenberg Project. A lot of classics and so on are available that you can download and read using your Kindle device or using the Kindle program, or they may be PDF, or use one of the other readers that are available. So there's a lot of books, ebooks, that you can download as well. And of course, a lot of them are available from Amazon Books, and you can get the Kindle version. You can get them a lot of them as PDFs. And of course, with a PDF, you can watch it, you can read it with any device.
You can also read these things in your car. If you're connected by Bluetooth, it can do your audiobooks right off of your phone, play them in through your car. Also, if you have a Sirius XM, there is a channel called Radio Classics on the Sirius XM radio, and you can hear all the old detective stories. It's quite interesting when you're, especially if it's raining or something and you're parked somewhere. Just listen to an audiobook. It'll help the time go by and make it a much more tolerable experience for you. Let's see. Sharon, are you there? Hi, Sharon.
She's muted.
Yeah. I've just sent an unmute request there.
By the way, if you're on a PC and you're muted, if you hold the space bar down, it's like the old time microphone switch. You hold the space bar down, you can talk, and then when you let it go, it mutes you again.
It wouldn't let me unmute a minute ago, but I got it now.
Hi,
Okay.
Sharon.
Yeah, I don't listen to audiobooks that much. I read on my Kindle mostly.
But these are still good sources to get books for your Kindle.
Absolutely.
Can I interject one little thing? If you
Absolutely.
if you have an ebook that you've downloaded, you have within Windows 10, if you're using it, and I guess the other systems too, you can highlight the text and you can have it being read back to you. So, that's another way. If you don't, even an ebook can be something that's being read to you. It might not be so pretty, it might be pretty monotone, but you can have it read to you, even though it's not an audio book.
And you look up text to speech. Right. And a lot that's built into Windows, but there's a lot of free apps that are available to do that as well. And if you get something that's, let's say it's in a format that you don't normally listen to, and you want to make it a different one, there's a program called Calibre, CLIBRE, that's available for the PC, and I also think it may be available for the Mac and maybe some of the others, that will convert from one format to another. So you can, if you get an EPUB, you can turn it into a PDF or vice versa.
That's right. May, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what do you think of Huey's presentation?
I think it was a wonderful presentation. I'm not much for audiobooks. I guess I'm very old-fashioned. I love holding a book in my hands. but I have read books, you know, on my Kindle.
Okay, that's good.
What
Yeah.
have you read recently?
I'm going to have to leave now. I have an appointment, but it was great. Thank you for your help.
Thank you, Dorothy. We'll see you.
Thank you for attending.
We'll see
Okay,
you
thank you.
September 4th.
Okay.
Be well.
Bye, Dorothy.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Dorothy. A big thank you to Huey.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to present.
Huey, tell them about the transcript they can get from the chat.
Oh, yeah. If you want a copy of everything that's been left in the chat box, if you click on chat, you'll see three little dots down on the lower right. If you click that, it'll say save chat. If you click that, it will then save it to your computer. And if you've got a PC or a Mac, it puts it in a folder called Zoom, and then a subfolder with today's date and the name of the meeting. And you'll find a text file in there that'll have what was left in the chat that was to everyone. And it'll only show what was in the chat box from the time you logged on. So if anybody left something before you logged on, it would not be in there.
I don't see any little dots for that purpose. I went to chat and I left a message, but I don't see anything about a way to save that chat.
You're
list.
you're on an iPad, aren't you? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Maybe it's not on an iPad. Okay.
The three dots are next to file on the bottom right. If you see everyone, file, and then a box with three dots.
I see it.
Okay. I see everyone.
Go over to the right. You see file.
She's on an iPad.
On an iPad. On chat on an iPad.
Oh, I'm on a Mac. I'm sorry. False alarm.
I'm on a laptop and I can see it.
Yes.
Oh, good. At least I have somebody.
Good.
Somebody email Marcia a copy of that file.
That's okay. Thank you.
Pete, can you hear me?
I did a screenshot.
Okay. Jules, you had a question?
No, I lost everything. All I got is audio.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, right now you just can't see us,
I hear you, Jules.
but we hear you.
I'm going to try him, ask him to start video, see if he can.
Next to the mute button would put him on.
Yeah.
Barry, do you do something after the presentations?
No, we just talk a little bit.
Just talk. Okay. Well, so if anybody has any questions about anything, if I know, I'll try to help you.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, what about the hurricane that's coming?
It looks like there might be two of them at once in the Gulf, and that's not a good thing.
Okay, I'll see.
But we might get a lot of rain we need over here. I know that.
Yeah, we do.
A very good app that I recommend helps with the hurricane information. It's called My Radar.
That's an app store for the Apple, right?
I don't know. It's free. I got it on my phone. Yeah, the App Store.
We'll come here. Barry, Ron's trying to unmute, or he may come here. Yeah. Okay, raise your hand.
Yeah, hi, Barry.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
This has been excellent. I have a whole page of notes, and I'm going to try to learn this system. And I like the idea of listening to books because I'm getting to a point it's easier to listen than to read.
Good.
Absolutely.
Don't forget podcasts. Also.
Podcast.
For some reason, I can't get audio on my iPad. And I tried to unmute. It's unmuted in the upper right-hand corner. And when I hit at the top, it says something about settings.
You may have to allow it to use your speaker and your microphone.
Okay.
Yeah,
but thank you. This has been excellent.
Oh, such a good job.
Okay, that's great. Are there any other questions before I say my final words here on the
Well,
audio?
I'd like to say a couple of final words. Thank you
Go
for
ahead.
again, thank you for inviting me and being so receptive to everything. Bob G and I, of course, are not part of your group, but we're part of a lot of groups. So we're a part of yours as well. But we both attend meetings for groups all over the country. And we invite you to APCUG put out a list of some of the groups that allow you to join their meetings as well. And I would like, and I'm sure Bob would like, to get invitations to any of your meetings that if you would allow us to join in and to add to any of the information that you are presenting and talking about, and be what's the word I want? It'd be another source of answers for some of your questions.
I'm already pretty much a regular with Barry's meetings.
Okay.
Right. Did anybody watch or attend the VTC last Saturday? The VTC that APCUG presented?
I did.
It was an amazing, you can see how well that is. It's really a webinar style presentation. And there are some guest speakers there that are outstanding. And right now, if you went to APCUG's site, you just click on the logo at the bottom of whatever device you're on, will bring you there, and you'll be able to see that they posted the slides from last week's VTC already. And as soon as the video has been edited and in a variety of locations, that will be posted on their channel too. So you really won't miss anything. But I encourage you to attend these VTCs. I think the next one's November 7th. Is that right?
It's November, yeah. This was number 37, and they have them quarterly, so there's 4 a year. And I was involved with the first one, and I helped get it going. And it's come a long ways, but they're all, I think all but the first year are available online on the APCUG YouTube channel.
ABC or BTC?
They're the Virtual Technology Conference, VTC. V is in virtual, but it's APCUG, the Association of PC User Groups. It's their channel. And that one slide that I had, let me go ahead and bring this back up. Share.
And the link to their site is at the bottom of our page.
Okay, but let me go back. Oops. Slide here. Come on.
Here we
the
go.
APCUG channel is right here. YouTube user / user APCUG videos. Again, this slide will be available to all of you.
I will be posting it under our handouts page, under member resources. Under handouts, you'll see the PDF posted there. And the video from this presentation, as soon as I can get it going, will be posted up on our YouTube channel.
But if you go to that APCUG videos channel, all but I think the first season, the first year, are posted there. And so there's 35 of them up there, 35 sessions, but there's at least 6 sessions to each one. And they're each an hour, about 45 minutes to an hour long. So it'll give you something to do.
Okay, folks, it's been a pleasure to see you all looking happy and healthy. And again, thank you to Huey for a traditionally excellent presentation. Thank you to Bob Gastisha, my very good friend, for serving as co-host. And also to Carol, if you're still there, you have my thanks also. If there's one last thing, Laurie, do you have something to say before we close the meeting?
No, thank you, but I love the presentation. Thank you.
Hi to Dad. Hi to Dad.
Wave goodbye to everybody. You can see me in the performance here. And Take care, be safe.
Thank you for everything. Yes, thank
Have
you.
a great week.
Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
See you in
Bye.
September. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.